everyone, thanks so much for coming back to our station. Today I'm going to show you how to turn these delicious rainbow licorices into these EOS containers. Now I've sort of been experimenting with other different candies if you want to check out our other videos, and today I thought it'd be fun to try TWIZZLERS. So I'm showing you here an EOS container. For those who have never seen these are lip balms. So mine is empty, but you can probably find them at any store now. They are pretty popular. So I cleaned mine out, and then I'm just showing you here that it comprises of 3 parts. And so in order to make these videos, you need to snap off the middle piece. And you guys, you use the lid to make the EOS shape. So some people get confused with how this works, but you actually put your candy in the lid. So here I have my red licorice, and I'm just going to chop it up into smaller bits because I am going to microwave it, obviously, so I can soften it up to put it in. Now, licorice has proved to be very difficult in the microwave as it doesn't melt as easy as the other candies. So here I am, I'm greasing up the top of my lid. Now this is really important so your candy doesn't stick, so make sure you guys remember that. Okay, I got my candy. I microwaved it for maybe 20 seconds, and see how it's still a little bit chewy, so it's going to be kind of hard to shove it in there. So I'm just going to take a scoop and sort of smush it in there, and that's pretty much how this is going to work, you guys. Like, it doesn't look as nice as if I was using Jolly Ranchers or something like that, because it's so easy to just pour in. This is a little bit chunkier, and the tricky part is that it's still really hot, so you want to make sure that first of all you have parental supervision, as you don't want to burn your fingers, and you just want to make sure that you use a little tool so that you don't burn your fingers when you're putting it in. Once you feel like the top is full enough, screw on the middle, and you want to make sure that there's no candy in the way, or else it might get stuck when you try to take it out, or the middle piece won't screw on properly, and then you will also probably not have that nice egg shape or the half egg shape that you're looking for. You're just going to put some more on top of the middle piece so that it all sticks together, or else it's just going to fall apart when you take it apart. So once you're happy with how much you've put in there, you can put it in the fridge, and you don't need to put it in for a long time, as it does harden pretty quickly. And actually, if you just put it in for like 1 or 2 minutes, if you take it out, it's actually still going to be squishy, which I think is pretty cool. So here is my end product. I left it in for a little bit longer, so it's quite hard. But you'll see throughout the video, I think it's the blue one, is actually quite squishy, so it's super cool, you guys. And the cool thing about these EOS candy treats, you guys, is that you can put the lid back on and save it for later. So most of them end up being quite hard, and maybe you don't want to lick it, for an hour straight, so you can just put the lid on and save it for later. Okay, moving on to orange. So again, cutting up your licorice, and just a reminder to coat the top of your lid with oil before you microwave your candy so it's all ready to go. Now this one, I experimented with 25 seconds just to see if it would turn into more of like a liquid, but you guys, licorice actually, it almost started not burning a little bit, but you can see that there's brown spots. So I think if I would have kept it in there, it definitely would have started burning. So you want to make sure that you're really careful. Like, this stuff will not turn into sort of like a liquidy consistency that would make things a lot easier for the EOS. So you want to make sure that you're super careful. So either way, I just shoved it in there, and then I'll show you with the yellow one, you guys, I do mix it up a little bit more with the spatula to turn it into more of a softer texture, whereas this, I just sort of picked it up and shoved it in there. Okay, and let's see how our orange turned out. So again, snapping on the base and carefully opening it just to make sure that the candy isn't stuck. And oh yeah, that turned out pretty good. You can see a little bit of texture of the licorice, which actually is kind of cool. But I like it. And this is hard. I left it in there for a long time, so it's quite hard. And yeah, I'm happy with this one. What do you guys think of this one? All right, and moving on to yellow. So for this one, unlike the orange one, I tried mixing it together a bit more with my spatula so that it was a bit smoother so you didn't have the licorice texture in the US. Not that that was bad, but just I'm trying to get as smooth as the texture as possible. So I'm just going to mix it up a little bit and see if that makes a difference. Okay, so let's see how this one turned out. Looks pretty good. There's still a little bit of spaces and a little bit of cracks, but it definitely looks a lot smoother than the last one I made. Alright, moving on to green, and let's see how this one turns out. So while you guys are putting the candy in there, you can always take a peek and see what it looks like so far and see if you can just smush it in anymore or not. And then once you're done, put it in the fridge. Now this one I actually put in the fridge for maybe 1 to 2 minutes because I wanted to see if it would be squishy, and it was. So this one, if you want it squishy, you just leave it in for a little bit, just enough to get hard or get the shape, and then it's pretty cool because it's squishy and it actually ends up going back to the EOS shape. Moving on to blue. Okay, so let's see how this one turned out. Pretty sure I didn't leave this one in the fridge too long, so it's probably pretty squishy. Some texture there. Oh yeah, it's squishy. And yeah, you can see the licorice, which again is pretty neat. There's a better shot of it. And the last color, which is purple. You'll see, but I'm not sure why, but I think this is the best one that ended up being sort of the closest to the EOS shape and smooth. So, I don't know, maybe purple's a little bit softer. Well, what do you guys think of this one? I like it a lot. I think the shape is really cool, and look how squishy it is. So again, I didn't leave it in the fridge that long, and it goes right back to the shape, so it's pretty neat. Okay, and here's all of our 6 EOSs, looking pretty cool. Okay, let's check out our braids again. Here we have red and yellow, and that obviously makes orange. Let's see how cool that looks together. Here we have our blue, and then we take our yellow, and anybody know what that makes when you mix them together? That makes green. Let's see how this looks when we braid them all together. Okay, and then if we take blue and we mix that with our red, what do you think you get? Correct, you get purple. Okay, let's braid it out and see what it looks like. Pretty cool stuff. That's our last braid. Anyways, you guys, thanks so much for coming to watch this video, and make sure you guys leave a comment and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thanks!